Today's topic is divorce.
We are not having a divorce. Our
No,
parents
Val and I are
had
still,
the
don't
divorce.
worry, Val and I are still happily married.
No,
Okay,
no,
we're still
no.
semi-contently married.
We're not married.
Are you divorcing me right now on the divorce episode? You bitch.
Maybe I am. You just ate my slice of cake, and then when you found out that it was sour, I tried to tell you don't eat it to protect you, and you're like, "Fuck no, I'm not listening to you."
You ditched me.
I need a spouse who will listen to me.
You ditched me. And you
I did
called me
not
a
ditch.
raccoon. I need a spouse who doesn't cancel plans last minute.
We had no plans.
We did
This
have plans. We had
video
plans.
was
No,
your
we had
only
plans.
plan.
We had plans.
We had no
We
plans.
had plans. So, again, today's topic divorce. Because Val and I are the only two of the group who have officially
Divorce.
officially divorced officially divorced parents. So why not dig up some trauma? So, my parents got divorced when I was around 6 years old. The years from elementary when they got divorced to about maybe the beginning of middle school, I would see my dad every other weekend, and I would see him a few days during the week, and I would live predominantly with my mom. And then once and holidays would alternate, so like my dad would have Thanksgiving, my mom would have Christmas, and then it would change each year. And then once high school kind of hit, I could kind of really move around a bit more and do what I wanted. So,
My situation is very similar to Anna's. My parents also got divorced at 6 years old, and the agreement is a little bit different. It's where actually I had a choice in that. They gave me a choice of whether I wanted to live with one parent full time or have it where, what I chose, where I live with one parent 1 week and then I switch houses the other week to live with the other parent, and then I switch back to the other parent every other week. So like this week I'm with my dad, so the next week I'll be with my mom. And that's how it's been since I was 9 years old, because they started talking about divorce and everything when I was 6, but they didn't finalize anything till I was 9. Um, and that's pretty much it. The reasonings behind it, not so good.
there I found like a thing online 18 things you should never say to someone with divorced parents. Number one, I bet it's fun getting double the presents for everything, right? I feel like people who don't have divorced parents look at divorce in either one of two ways. They're like, oh, that must really suck. Everything must be really horrible. And like your whole life must be chaos. Or just like, wow, you get to have double of everything, double houses, double Christmases, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone said that to me, I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't care, but I'd be like, it depends on the people and your financial status. When your parents are married, you share finances, which means that once you get divorced, you need to find a way. Whatever your divorce agreement is, you get a certain amount of money and they get a certain amount of money, and you have to kind of be in a good financial place together to have two houses, two Christmases, and everything. To me, it's a little bit different. Like, I don't have that because my parents are pretty poor. So I'm gonna be honest. My dad has an apartment. My mom has a house. Now they're separate, so they have less money than they were together, and so now they're kind of limiting on what they can use for their money on gifts. So I'm actually getting less presents than I did when they were together.
For me, it's kind of more like different. I mean, my mother is at a much more like advantageous financial position, whereas my dad, with him, it's kind of always been like a I don't want to say poor, but like a not as good off circumstance. Like, it's not even like the gifts, it's like my mother has always, when they first got divorced, my mother kept the house. And then when I moved right after elementary school ended, my mother got a house. And then my dad was like, for almost the entirety of elementary school, he he kind of switched. He had a house. He was renting an apartment at some points, and then he would not have that because they were selling the house or whatever, and he couldn't stay there anymore. So there would be like months on end where we wouldn't have a place to go to with him on the weekends. So we'd be like, he would live with my grandmother in Pennsylvania, and he would come back down. So for like those weekends, sometimes we would make the 3 hour drive there and back every weekend. Sometimes we would stay at hotels. Sometimes there was a lot of going to Manhattan and staying in hotels there. I don't really know why. He had a friend there that he was living with for a while, and it wasn't really after I moved, he got a house nearby, and then he met his now wife. So now they have a house together, but he's still kind of at a disadvantageous like financial situation. Okay, number two. Sometimes I honestly just wish my parents would get divorced. I've never heard anyone say that, honestly.
I've I've
Have you
heard
heard
someone say
anyone say
that.
that?
Yeah, I've had people say that to me online, like my online friends. I've had someone say that to me. Their parents were fighting. Um, and I think that if your parents fight constantly and don't resolve it or whatever, then okay, I see where you're coming from. It's not ideal for your parents to split. Um, Mostly because I think it's more stable if they're together and with you, because it takes a toll on you. As much as two houses, two Christmases, two birthdays sound great, your parents are still gonna fight. Your parents are still gonna be mad at each other, and it's gonna take a while for that to cool down, even if after they separate. And they might put you in the middle of it. Divorce is a big thing where they use a child to be like, oh, I'm a better parent. Oh, they love me more. And that's why I say, like, if you're not gonna get, like, if your parents don't get divorced, they can't say that, because they're both raising you, whatever. Once they don't, it's a custody battle. It's I want the child. No, I want the child. Unless your parents don't, unless one of the parents like you can have the child, and I'll just see them on the weekends, just for easier financial, because it's sometimes that's just easier for finance and stuff. Because I'm gonna say my dad lost a lot of money trying to get my situation, because it's not normal for my dad to have me for 1 week and my mom to have me for 1 week. It's normal for my mom to have me full time. My dad just see me every other weekend. But he fought my mom, and he went through a lot of money to get to what we have now. So it's not ideal. It will take a toll on you mentally and emotionally to have divorced parents. So when someone said that to me, I was like, you have no idea.
It also depends, I think, on how much your parents fight. Because some divorces, I think they can be like pretty neutral, but like yours wasn't, mine wasn't.
Yeah.
Number three. So you probably have pretty bad trust issues.
You want to go for this one?
No, no. Like, the divorce for me didn't cause trust issues with, well, I wouldn't say not with my parents, because I did have a decent amount of distrust with my parents during certain moments, but I wouldn't say overall that's caused trust issues for me. Um, I definitely believe that I hate the court systems for completely screwing it over. I'd say the divorce isn't one of them for me. Only in the sense of, as I said, the courts.
Mine's completely different. Mine's the opposite of what you said. I think the divorce is definitely a major thing that happened in my life that caused trust issues. I will blame my mother for that. um, I would say I've always had trust issues because of me getting abandoned, whatever. But that's also abandonment issues. So, but my mom with my divorce, it got a little intense. I used to, but this is the reason why I have trust issues. My mom called the police, I believe, 2 to 3 times to the house, and the shit that she said to the police. I was 7 or 8 years old when this happened, and even I, as a kid, knew this was bullshit. She would lie to the police to make my dad sound like he was abusing her and stuff, and it was the shit that she said. It wasn't even realistic. Like she would say, he got so mad he pounded on his side of the and she's got a king size bed, so he pounded on the mattress of his side of the bed, and I flew off. My entire body flew off the mattress like a freaking seesaw or whatever. And I'm like, my dad's not the Hulk. He doesn't have that much strength to do that. Okay. And then she told like the police, "Oh, he punched a pillow and it scared me." Like he punched a pillow. He was angry, mostly because of you. Because because what happened was this was the time when my dad found out my mom was cheating on him. Like that's the reason why they broke up. And I'm okay with saying this. I'm okay with saying it. I don't care. You know, knowing me as a kid, I was like, she's lying, and it took a toll on me, and I was like, I could never trust my mom. I never knew who to trust. When I got older, obviously I figured it out myself. So yeah,
My divorce caused trust issues amongst my parents, but not anything outside of that. Like, I don't think it has affected like my ability to trust people as a whole. That's been affected by other things. But
yeah,
definitely my relationship with them and with how I view court systems. For me, it was always we were assigned like an attorney kind of thing, like to represent me and my brother. And that just did not work. He did not listen. Like, he was supposed to listen to us and kind of, I don't really know his complete purpose. He was pretty much an advocate for us. But I would tell him over and over again things that happened that one parent would claim happened but really didn't. Or I would like tell him what I wanted out of the situation, and all of that would be ignored.
hmm
Like, I wanted to live with one parent, and that just never happened. That was completely ignored. They do not listen to kids. And frankly, that attorney that I had, I just hate him just
I
because
have a
of how
question.
badly he messed up. Just, and the courts in general for just, I feel like, failing us as a whole. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like one parent, whether it's the mother or the father, should not be prioritized over the other because of gender or anything like that. I think the kids should get a say. And the sad thing is that usually they don't. And I spent years trying to figure out a way to adjust to the circumstances and to try and like put myself in a situation where I would be with the parent that I wanted. And it just has not worked out.
yeah.
Not to say that it's all been bad, obviously, but like it's just kind of frustrating that the things that I wanted were never advocated for. And I was just completely ignored by every adult because, oh, I'm just a kid and I don't know anything.
Understandable.
Yeah, and like there was an issue years ago where I like witnessed something happening, and one of the parents lied, and that caused a whole thing with police. And even though I told them the truth of how that issue went down, no one believed me. And that ended up having a negative consequence with the other parent. And that really fucks me up still. All right, next question.
Oh wait, actually, I have a question before we go on. The court system, the attorneys. What age do you think they would listen to the child? 18, where they become an adult, or like teenager wise? Because
I mean,
how old were you when they were talking to you?
it was only in elementary. After elementary, we stopped having an attorney. I wouldn't
Okay,
even
so like
say
how old would you guess?
I wouldn't even say fifth grade. I'd say maybe maybe third grade we stopped.
Okay.
It was in
So,
the earlier years.
what age do you think they would be like, oh, okay, I like they would actually listen to the child of the
Honestly,
group?
18, if that.
18, really?
I do
Damn,
not.
that's so sad.
I've seen like and heard about stories about other kids with divorced parents who have tried to like do the same thing I've done, like tried to live with one parent or tried to sort issues out, and then the courts just ignore them. It's not a matter of how young you are, really. I've seen it with 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 6-year-olds. It's the same thing. They don't care about the kids, really. They say they do, and they really don't.
Yeah.
And that's not even an issue with the parents, that's an issue with the court.
My dad once came to me, and he was like, would you be comfortable going in a courtroom and standing on stage and asking questions? And I'm like, oh, like the show, you know? Because I was a kid. And he's like, yes, but this time it'd be real. It'd be with you, and it'd be about me and Mama, and it'd be what you want. We'd get you a lawyer, and you talk to the lawyer, and we'd figure out what you want and get that all settled. And it could help get what you want out of this. You know, you can get a say in this. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to do that. And then he comes back the next day and says, this, I don't think I'm gonna do it because I don't want you going through all that. And I'm like, So I was I didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
I didn't even have a say.
they say they don't want to drag the kids into it, but at the end of the day, they're involved. Like, it's kind of impossible not to involve your kids in your
Yeah.
divorce. And, like, sometimes, honestly, kids do know better than the parents as to who they would better be with. And
Yeah, I was gonna say.
no one wants to acknowledge that. Like,
Oh,
yeah, I'm not
we're
saying
gonna
that's
get
true
so
for
much hate
all.
from parents.
I'm not saying that's true for all cases. I'm just saying there are some kids who have a better relationship with one parent and who just they would live better with, but they're not allowed to. And it's
Yeah.
stupid. Number four. I bet you're not the relationship type. For me, my
No, not for me.
hmm, for me, my view of like love and relationships has never been like skewed because of my parents' divorce. It's just an area that wasn't really affected. I know there are some people who like, and I've seen it in like shows and stuff. Like, oh, a character's parents are divorced and it's like completely affected their ability to have relationships, and it's just not something that I identify with. Well, this is if one of your parents has more siblings, kids, I mean. Is it weird having half siblings or step siblings around?
Oh, then there you go. Go ahead.
So, is it weird having step siblings around? I have two step siblings, both older than me. Um, a step brother who's 1 year older, and then a stepsister who's a few years older. I don't think it's weird having them around. I mean, to be honest, my stepsister lives with her husband, and my stepbrother has not been around in about a year and a half. I don't know where he is. I don't think anyone knows where he is, honestly. So they're not really around much. And even when they were, it wasn't really, I don't know, it wasn't weird per se. It took a bit of getting used to. I also never really spoke to either of them, especially my stepbrother. We like just never talked. Number six, which parent did you side with?
I think the audience knows my answer for that one.
I won't disclose. When I was
Alright.
younger, I definitely had a parent that I was siding with. And even now, I have a closer relationship with one as opposed to the other, but like, it's not really about sides anymore. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no more sides. I can really go with whichever parent I want. There's like, and they're on much more civil terms now. Like, before, they were not. So now it's just kind of chill. I
That's
don't,
good for you. For me, it's a little different. I side with my dad. My dad and my mom still like they're civil they're civil when in person
they trash
when
talk
I'm
each other.
around. On text, not on call, not civil at all. I can hear it from a room away, and my mom already knows that I side with my dad, so yeah. Oops.
The parent that I was siding with, like earlier on in my life, the other parent knew that's where I was, that's where my headspace was at, and that kind of caused tension between me and that parent. All right, number 7. Do you think they'll ever get back together? No.
No.
No. Well, first of all, my dad is remarried, and my mom and my dad are just polar opposites. Like, my dad is very laid back, very sarcastic, very just kind of go with the flow and wing it, like me. My mother is very detail oriented, not, well, stern, just kind of organized, I'll say. He's chaos and she's organized. He
Yeah.
is much more okay with me doing whatever as long as I'm not dying. And she likes to keep a close rein on me. So no, they're not. They're not getting back together.
I still don't understand the whole why they got divorced situation either. Like, I know like the whole cheating thing, but like my dad wanted to work it out. My mom wanted to also work it out, but the way she went about it was really bad. Like she instead of saying I'm sorry and I won't do it again, she said, "How did you find out?" And that's what pissed off my dad and was like, "I'm done with you."
Understandable.
I don't know what exactly I just know that there was a lot of fighting about it. I didn't know it was that, but at the time, but I was just like, why? My mom always started the fights, and I don't know why. Like it was just so random.
Hmm.
She loved causing problems, as my dad liked to ignore problems and move on. So I don't know. I guess I could say that's the reason why they won't get back together, but they just hate each other.
Number 8. That sounds awful. I'm so glad my parents are still together. I mean, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, okay, good for you.
I've had people say that to me
Like, because
online.
honestly, yeah, fair. It's true. It does suck. I'm not gonna get all hurt about the, oh, I'm glad my parents are still together.
I'm not gonna get yeah. I don't think
That
anyone
could be
should.
interpreted different ways, and it's just not worth getting worked up about.
Yeah, it's not. No one should take that as a personal attack. It
Yeah.
happened. You went through it. It sucked. That's that. If someone else is having had their parents together and they're happy with it, let them be happy. You know, it's not about you. You know,
Yeah.
it's like great. I'm glad. It's just that should be your answer.
Hmm. 9. Oh,
Okay.
so does your mom have guys sleep over all the time?
Anna, you want to start this one?
I mean, my mother hasn't, to my knowledge, dated anyone, and she certainly has never brought any guy over to the house.
My mom has not brought anyone over to our house. My mom has went to their house.
You literally live with Billy.
Yeah, that's the only guy that's okay. But the thing is, she only brought him to the house when she knew she wanted to get serious with him. We went to his place for a bit in the summer, and my mom, my mom moved quick. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I've only saw the guy 3 times before he moved into the house. So I mean, they're in a domestic partnership only because they don't want to get married. I don't understand that, but they're in a domestic partnership, so it's right below marriage, but right above dating. So,
Who's gonna walk you down the aisle at your wedding? My
mm,
dad. My mother doesn't have a partner. So, I don't know. Probably my dad or my mom and my dad. I don't know.
mostly it is your dad or your mom. Well, first off, mostly what I've been told when you have divorced parents, it's your mom and your dad. If your parents are together, it's just your dad. I don't understand that, but
I think
that's
it's whatever you prefer.
yeah, it's whatever you really prefer. I I want my dad to walk me down the aisle, not really my mom.
And this goes in line with the question, are you going to invite both of them to insert a big life event? Which, yeah. My parents, at least, are civil enough where I can do that.
I've never had ever since they got divorced. I've never had that. Like I've actually asked, "Hey, mom, for my birthday, can we have a birthday dinner with just me, you, and my dad?" She said instantly. I was like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, what about you, me, Billy, Fran, and my dad?" No. Billy wanted me to. He was like, "Why not? What's wrong with that? I mean, we can be civil. I like the guy. He likes me, I think." And I was like, "He likes you." And he's like, "See, there's nothing to be wrong." And she's like, I don't want to see my ex-husband with his girlfriend. And I'm like, "What do you
That's
think?"
just sad.
I
When
know.
people
I'm like,
aren't willing to
thinking,
get over themselves for the kid.
I'm willing. I'm thinking to myself, "What are you jealous?" Like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, "Why can't you do this for me?" And she's like, "No, I'm sorry. You'll be fine." And I was like, that I've always told her that's all I wanted was just one time where I could feel like my family's together for even just a little bit. Like you just have to start. It's not that hard to be nice. You know, Pretend he's your friend because that's what you say. You're friends. When you're around me, you tell each other, "Oh, we're civil because we're friends, and he's a good friend." So
My
why
parents
can't
aren't like that, but mine are just like, yeah, we're civil. We're not like best friends or anything, but we're civil.
I don't know? So, like, but you won't do this for me. No, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Would you and Billy like to come over for Thanksgiving at my dad? My aunt's, and she's like, "No, it's even worse. That's even worse than being at a birthday dinner with just my dad."
Well, to
I
be
don't even
fair,
know.
that I can kind of understand. If it's just your dad's side of the family and
Hmm.
his ex-wife is there, the woman who divorced him,
Yeah.
I
So
mean, that's kind of understandable, but the
I
family
know
dinner thing is not.
my dad's family doesn't know what happened because they liked my mom. They're like, "Oh my god, she's so nice. She's always welcome, even though your parents are divorced. She's welcome anytime if you want her to be
Yeah, but
here."
your mother might not know or believe that. Yeah, I mean, my parents, we haven't really done anything together, but I know that I could if I wanted to. Like, after our high school graduation that night, I went to dinner with both of them, and then we went to Sugar Fairy. And that was like the first time in like maybe 9 years that we had ever been together as a as the four of us or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could have that.
Hmm. Well, almost everyone has divorced parents these days. To be fair, most of the people that I know have a complicated family life. I'm not going to say that everyone has divorced parents now because I do have friends that have like married parents, but it does not, in my personal experience, outweigh the number of people I know who don't have married parents.
I think that as a whole, in community wise, I think that divorced parents are a lot more frequent. I think there's a lot more divorces happening than back in the 1900s when my parents were young, 1960s or whatever. It's based off like the reason, why you do it. If you're doing it because you're annoyed at them, it's not really. That's not. It also depends if you have a kid. Like if you have a kid, you should just try to stay together and fix it. If you don't have a kid, that's up to you guys. I don't really care. Like do what you want, but
I
you
think you
you
shouldn't force yourself to stay in a situation that isn't working just for the sake of the kid. I think you should try and like see if you can make things work in a way where you can, if it's needed, get divorced and work for the kid. Because I know there are some like divorced parents who still kind of live together. When I was a kid, I would watch episodes of other kids who had divorced parents, and those parents would be getting into relationships with others. Like they'd be getting remarried or they'd start dating, and the kid characters would be like so mad and angry and rebellious and like hating the partner and just being mad at the situation as a whole. And I never really understood that. I mean, I guess I can understand why they would feel that way, but for me, it was different because for whatever reason, I always encouraged my parents to go and date. I don't really know why. I still to this day sometimes, like I think a few weeks ago, I asked my mother, so are you seeing anyone? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, you should maybe get back up on the horse. Like I've encouraged my parents to go out and date, and like with my dad, I encouraged him to go out and meet people and stuff because he's kind of a hermit. Um, and eventually he met his wife, and when he did, and when they started dating, I was like, oh, this is great. I have a second mom or whatever. I mean, to be fair, I don't call her that, but yeah, I didn't really have an issue with it. And then they got married, and it was only then that it's not even like I have an issue with her. It's more so my dad has a lot of dogs, and he
12
lives
to
in
be.
Pennsylvania with her, and those dogs take up a lot of attention. And sometimes it just has always kind of felt like the dogs and the house and everything else takes priority over me. So it's only there that I have an issue with it. It's only when I feel like I'm being put down in place of dogs or housework or anything of that sort. That's where my problem with it.
I'm being replaced by bitches.
Yeah, I'm being replaced by bitches. That's where my issue with it is. I don't know. I guess I just liked the idea of having more people in my life because my mother still hasn't, to my knowledge, dated anyone.
So it's really on you.
So yeah, I just never really understood those types of things.
It wasn't an issue for me until they started. Like, I hate. Okay, there's one thing that I hate about significant others dating divorced parents. Like my dad dated Fran, whatever, and like they're like, I'm not gonna replace your mom. Your mom will always be your mom. I hate when people say things like that. Like, I get it. I know that. I was never thinking that. If you even tried, you would be banished. Not like actually banished, but like I would not like you and you would eventually my dad would not be dating you, you know? Um it annoys me because it's like you automatically think that I think that instead of being like just act like you normally would if you knew my dad wasn't divorced with a kid. If they came to me now that I'm 18, I'd be like, okay. Like I wouldn't care. I wouldn't have any feelings about it. And like it doesn't matter now. But when I was a kid, I hate that because it's like now I'm thinking about or now I'm gonna think, are you trying to replace my mom? Like that's before I wasn't thinking that, but now that you brought it up, now I'm analyzing you.
Yeah, I mean, my parents never had any sort of discussion like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the night my parents got divorced. I was like 6 or so, and they kind of just sat me and my brother down in the living room. And my mom was just like, Dad and I are getting a divorce, and he's not going to be living here anymore. And I remember I took like an empty like makeup suitcase thingy, and their I put in a blanket and a photo from their wedding day, and I gave it to him, and she's like, "Oh, he's not leaving tonight."
Hmm.
That's like just a vivid memory from the night of the divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most memories that I have associated with the divorce are obviously negative ones.
I have a question.
Hmm.
How long did it take for your dad to move out?
I don't know. I'd say about a month. He originally was supposed to have longer to move out, I think, and then for whatever reason he got kicked out sooner.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
My dad,
a lot of his stuff was like left behind and either thrown out or
oof.
just yeah.
My dad took a year and a half.
Hmm.
I don't know why. I didn't have a job at that moment, so finding a place to go to was a lot harder. So I guess because he didn't have a place to go to, he had to stay.
Hmm. Divorce is weird because in my family it's either like relationships ends in divorce, or the relationship goes on until one of them is dead.
Damn,
But
okay,
it's
way to be
true.
brutal.
I mean, like, my mom's parents got divorced, and my grandmother on that side never got remarried. And then on my dad's side, my grandfather died when my dad was a kid, and my grandmother never remarried. And then on my great grandmother's side, on my mom's, it's the same thing. Like, they got married, he died, she never remarried. So it's like,
Okay.
it's either divorce or death. That's pretty
What
much
is there in between?
huh?
What is there in between?
Divorce and remarriage.
And then it's either divorce again or death.
Yeah, but it's still divorce and remarriage. I'm saying in cases for me where it's either divorce or death and no remarriage.
Um,
Yeah, because like my grandmother never remarried, my other grandmother never remarried. One of them died, one of them divorced.
but your dad be married.
My dad did. He's the first, I
So
think.
there you go. Your cycle's been broken.
Indeed. What would you say to someone who is going through their parents being divorced?
Stay strong, and it's not your fault.
Yeah, I hate it when kids feel like it's their fault, because it's not. Like,
And
sometimes
don't listen to your parents about the divorce.
I'd say don't indulge if your parents are shit talking one another. Because as a kid, you don't need to hear that.
No, I don't say don't listen to your parents because sometimes, depending on your parents might go to you and be like, "Oh, your dad did this or your mom did that,"
Oh, yeah, in that case,
try to
don't listen to
convince
them.
you to not like them. Don't listen to them. They're just trying to get it's just a custody battle to them in the end, you
That's just
know.
manipulating the kid in a way. You're not
Yeah,
supposed to pit your kid against the other parent.
yeah. I
Sometimes,
think talking to your parents when you get older about it is healthy.
yeah, sometimes two people just don't work out anymore. And that's fine. Like, if two people are really just like, if they happen to fall out of love or if things just aren't working between them, I don't see a point in staying together, if especially if it's going to be toxic going
Yeah,
forward. But divorcing parents should never let their actions negatively impact the emotional or mental or any state of their child. Yeah, I remember one time, I don't know if it was sophomore year or junior year, you and I were in um, Mr. Sementelli's room for lunch, and we were just talking about like our parents' divorce, like out loud with him across the table. And then when we were done, he just kind of looks up at us, like looks really sad, and he goes, "Are you guys okay?" And we're both like, "No."
yeah, that was fun. I love
scarring
scarring pictures.
scarring your teacher with your parents' divorce.
And then just us knowing we have so many other stories that are probably worse too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, happy
Oh,
memories.
poor Sam had to listen to that and the entire was it lunch or morning?
It was lunch.
Yeah, the entire period just
Yep.
listening and feeling bad for us.
Yep. If
Yeah.
there's anyone going through a parent divorce, just, you know, it gets better eventually. Maybe not anytime soon, but eventually.
Yeah.
Just try not to let yourself be like pitted against another parent. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to form your own views and your own opinions on what happened, even if you don't know the truth.
Yeah.
I say wait until everything is settled and everything is agreed upon to make that opinion. That is this episode.
Yep. Real happy one.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, there's gonna be a lot of sad podcasts.
Probably. Yeah. We have a lot of unresolved issues. Divorce is not a fun thing to go through alone.
But if you want to hear more about me and Anna's divorce, come by next time and we'll talk about that while we settle it.
Mm,
Right, Anna? We still
right.
gotta do some paperwork.
I'm
I'm
keeping
getting
the
the
house.
house. I'm
I'm
keeping the
getting
house.
the house.
No,
My house.
fine. Then
I put down the deposit.
I want the money. I want majority of the money.
You can't take the money.
I want the money.
Too
You
bad.
get the house. I get the money.
We'll settle this in court later this week.
Fine. Bloopers, personal.
So, what was your little comment about earlier?
I'm scared to say it.
Say it, Val.
Promise you won't get mad.
No.
Remember, we're always gonna be sisters, right? No matter what I say.
Yep.
Okay. You look like a raccoon.
How?
Or a meme. Or a meme. You know those memes?
What memes?
The guy who pretends to. I don't know what the fuck they're called. What are they called?
Mimes?
Oh, that's it, yeah. Yeah, that's what you look like.
Thank you, Val. I thought I
Raccoon.
looked good, but
You do! But when you do this, yeah. Yeah. Raccoon time.
by the way, that cake that we got 2 days ago, would it still be good?
My black and white cake.
Yeah.
Oh, I want it. Yeah, it'll still be good.
Okay.
You're gonna eat it in front of me, even though it's mine? You're not gonna wait until I come over tomorrow to eat it? At least half?
No. Because by then, you never know. It might, like, go bad, so.
It's not going to. I had a whole full cake. I ate after a week of having it.
Well,
It
you
was still
shouldn't
good.
be doing that.
Well, I shouldn't be, but I kept forgetting that it was in the fucking fridge.
That's not bueno.
No, it's not.
Plus, I need a snack.
I'm not gonna say that.
What, that I am a snack? Thank you for that.
No,
I
no,
appreciate it, but
no, not you. I... there you go. There you go. What, is it not good?
I don't know. It's weird. It's a lot more sour than it should be.
Oh, well then stop eating it.
No, it's cake. There's fuck. It's the law of desserts. You have to
See,
finish it
I
all.
don't have the problem with my hair that you do with yours.
Yeah, 'cause you look like a bird.
And you look like a raccoon. Congratulations. You're a trash panda.
I can
Piece of
literally
shit.
see the moose separating.
Stop eating.
It's the law.
It's not the law.
It's
You're
the
good.
law of
If
desserts. You have to
I
finish
come
your whole
over
dessert.
tomorrow and I have to go home because you're not fucking feeling well, I'm gonna punch you in the face before I leave.
Okay. I'll tell Danny.
I'm okay with that. I'll tell Danny you ate a sour cake and refused to not eat it.
Cake is cake. I'm not gonna waste good cake.
Yeah, and Danny will agree with me that you deserve the punch. What is wrong with you?
So many things. Pick from the list.
The fact that you have a list is a concern. Stop eating it! Oh my god!
Ooh, cake.
It's sour! It's not good! Don't eat
The
it, please
the
don't.
mousse part is sour. The cake part itself is fine.
What about the cream?
The chocolate cream?
No, the vanilla cream.
No, that's the thing that's sour.
The vanilla cream, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't.
It's so shiny.
It's so shiny. Yeah, because the milk is gone sour.
That's
Sour.
why I'm,
Sour. Sour. The milk is sour.
that's why I'm only eating the cake part and the
You're,
chocolate mousse.
you are disgusting.
Thank you.
Just so people know, this is a cake for my job called Sugarberry.
Yeah. So
And you sound like a raccoon. Oh my god. You're officially a raccoon. You look like one and now you sound like one. What's next? You're gonna go into the trash can to get some food?
maybe I'll stop by your place tomorrow.
Damn! Okay. Rude.
Which parent did you actually let me grab a charger? Real quick.
Wow. So while we wait for Anna to grab her charger because she's never prepared for these podcast episodes, how are you guys doing? How are you feeling? How or in is out there? Is our information helping you guys in any way? Let us know in the comments. And if you have any other questions about this topic or any other topic we've talked about before, put it in the comments and we'll talk more about it. And if you have any suggestions on topics, put it in the comments. How long does it take to get a charger? Oh my goodness.